I'm very honored to have been asked by Katie to have, and others as well, engaged us. I'm so sorry, yes. And the Asia Art Archive, I must get this right. But we are an artistic community, so these small lapses of judgment can pass unnoticed, I trust. So this evening I'm extremely honored actually to be asked to make this introduction, because it's many, many years since I first came across the work of Huang Rui, and so I've had the fortune to be able to see how his art has changed and evolved over the years. And the thing that I feel is most characteristic of him is that he's somebody who has never really shied away from truth. He's been attracted to that, sometimes as a moth to a flame, because having been born in 1952, he was present in Beijing when that first flowering of artistic openness began with the Stars, which actually he co-founded with his friend Ma Desheng and Wang Keping and others of that period. And at the time there was a demonstration, and there was a discussion about should we have this demonstration. He was against it actually, because he didn't really think that one should be pursuing by direct political means various aspects of art. But all his friends voted in favour, and so he turned around and said, fine, okay, if that's it, I'll join in as well. So he has the courage to stand by his own convictions and alone, but also the courage to change his mind and go along and support his friends when it is necessary to do so. At the time he was mostly active in oil painting, but as time went on his art changed and evolved, and in 1984 in fact he met and married a Japanese lady and moved to Japan. But even at that time his art had become different in that he brought in elements of collage, of different materials, of silks and ink and washes of that sort, and then moved to produce very, very beautiful paintings in reds and oranges, very glowing, very wonderful, very warm. And that was really his way of expression at the time. Now today, things have changed a lot, and in the most recent years we've seen work such as his China and destroyed, two words, one in China and one basically property is ready for demolition. And his engagement in politics through his art, in fact, has never changed. He's not keen on direct action. And I don't know what we'll be exploring tonight directly, because that's a question for our moderator, but I look forward to hearing aspects of his work in that regard. Also, he's been able successfully to get himself taken off display even as recently as 2 years ago in Shanghai, through the very simple medium of putting up a work which consisted of the front cover of the collected works of Chairman Mao, Volume 6. Well, that doesn't exist, and it was a very subtle dig politically at the authorities in Shanghai. Worse than it not existing, it also comes after Volume 5, which does exist, but which is about the Cultural Revolution, has not been published for 5 years. So they understood what was going on, and they took him off display. And now, as you've seen at the entrance here, we have Comma China, which is analysed in a very subtle and rather elegant way by Berenice Angrevi in her various notes, which I think Katie will have available, but I shan't go into that as it's complex, but it's very attractive and very intellectually interesting as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moderator tonight, Phil Tinari, has done his postgraduate work at Harvard, but has had a long interest in Chinese art, predating his time at Harvard. Lives now in Beijing, where he's been since 2001, has known Huang Rui for a long time. He is himself a curator, a publisher, something of a scholar from what I can tell from our discussions earlier this evening. And it's my great pleasure to introduce to you, therefore, Huang Rui and Phil Tinari for this discussion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And my role will be sort of complex, trying to bring what Huang Rui is saying to you in the most direct way, and also to try and make him say the most interesting possible things. A word on format. We're actually going to begin with a video work that Huang Rui will tell us a bit about in just a second, which to him kind of encapsulates this whole 30-year period around which our discussion this evening will revolve. And that will be about a 5-minute clip. It will be followed by a set of more formal remarks by Huang Rui, and then by a slide presentation which will show you some of the key works of the Stars period, but also key works of Huang Rui's career more generally. And then we'll move into a broader discussion and finally end with a 15-minute screening of a piece called 1989, which is an ongoing piece that he's been working on for a number of years. So I'd like to ask him to just introduce what we'll be beginning our evening with right now. So you can see that.
谢谢大家来参加 今天我在这里的讲演，当然也谢谢亚洲协会、亚洲艺术文献库和三山里10号画廊的组织和安排。我先给大家放一个我最近的作品，名字叫《日常行为》。
Okay, so he'd just like to thank everyone for coming tonight, to thank AAA, the Aces Society, and Chancery Gallery for their organization, and then to first show us a clip of a recent work which he calls Daily Actions.
这是9月12号，最近在北京做的一个行为艺术表演。
This is a performance that was staged on September 12th, very recently in Beijing.
一共用了30个盘子，每个盘子上写当年发生的事情。
There were 30 plates, and each plate had a date and then an event that had happened in a year.
1979到今年2009。
1979 to 2009.
上面出现了一些艺术家的名字，都是在当年自杀的艺术家。
So some of the incidents that appear are actually names of artists, and those artists appear in the year in which they committed suicide in a couple of notable cases. 比如说大同大张就是2000年自杀的一名艺术家。 For example, one artist by the name of Big Zhang from Datong Dazhang, killed himself in 2000, and so he's remembered in that year.
这个表演用了30多分钟，但是为了节省时间，减到5分钟。
The performance spent 30 minutes to save our time tonight. We're just showing a 5-minute excerpt condensation.